experience, and you realize there are certain levels of danger. Then and the next question to think about is why take the vaccine? Like why take it? Does the vaccine protect you against COVID? No. It doesn't. It doesn't protect you against COVID because you can take the vaccination and still get COVID, as many hundreds of thousands of people have done. Oh, we don't understand. We got vaccinated and we still test positive. And then there's the question about, has the virus been isolated, yes or no? And there's a big debate about that. It's not clear. And if you haven't isolated it, how can you vaccinate against it? That's not clear either. You would think that if it was clear, it would be easy to understand. And science is a constantly evolving process. So maybe it is good. Maybe it will get better. But it needs a lot of time. Yeah, I just want to say good things are obvious. Good things are clear. Everybody understands. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. Good things are obvious to everybody. If it's not clear, then it's like something's wrong. If it's not clear. At the same time, doesn't everything mutate? Doesn't the flu mutate? Your traditional cold virus will mutate. Doesn't the body grow and evolve and develop? Yeah. Well, and what if it will constantly mutate? What is the point in vaccinating at all? Because vaccination will just speed up the process of mutation, and you'll have more mutations and more vaccinations, and more leads to more and less leads to less. So the more testing they do, the more testing they're going to do. Well, it's a 20-to-1 investment. You invest $1 in a vaccination, you get $20 back. It's for investors on the stock market who trade in the shares of companies. It's a huge win. It's a huge bonus, and I think that they don't really care if they're getting I don't know, whatever percentage, 20 times more back on it. I mean, that's huge, right? That's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And there will only be more and more of it. And look, it's not clear. It's good. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of debate. There's a lot of false science on both sides. There's a lot of misinformation. Some of it on purpose, some of it deliberate, I think. Some of it is put out to confuse people. But yeah, it's not clear. It's not clear. So
I agree.
And the old argument, the very old argument is, if there are two people, person A and person B, person A gets vaccinated, person B doesn't get vaccinated, who is at risk? Right? It's open to debate, because it's not clear at that point in time what the benefit is to the activity. And as I said, good things are clearly good. I'm thirsty, I drink water, I feel hydrated. It's a good thing, right? So there's a whole series of logical arguments about can you really, is it natural to have the virus in the body? And my fear is that you can't go back, right? That's my fear. You can't go back.
Of course.
So if in the future 5, 10, 15, 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
we learn it was a mistake. Oops. Oops, that's going to be pretty bad.
It will be. いつぶれたですから。
Yeah, it'll be too late, exactly.
Right.
And there are many examples in the 20th century of approved and used medicines that didn't work, that had terrible side effects, including death in many cases. Yeah. And you know, a lot of the cancer treatments are sort of 50-50, right? Maybe you live, maybe you die. You know, it's a numbers game. Yeah. So it's and yeah, I think when you look at the percentages, like, okay, how will it improve the quality of my life? For sure, right? How will it improve the quality of my life? Well, we don't really know. Oh, okay. That's not a good investment from my perspective. It's not a good investment in terms of time. It's not a good investment in terms of money, because you don't know in terms of development. Well, you don't know what's going to come back. No idea. So I don't want to be part of a very large experiment. I really don't, if possible. Yeah. You know, when you have to promote something again and 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 again, it suggests it's not good. Because if it's naturally good, everyone is running to be first and get everything. Like if there's a music album and it's really good, everybody will tell everybody about it, and everybody will listen to it, and everybody will share it. Yeah, you don't need to do so much promotion. Now promotion does help naturally, and because you know, getting the message out, getting the voice out, it's very important. But a lot of good things just evolve and develop and grow in a natural way. It doesn't need to be push 1,000 times a day on every channel for a year. I mean, that's just a sign that it's not so good, right? Or we don't know how good it is, or we don't know the benefits, and I always have a little bit of a fear of where is it from? Because now, just this week, there were lots of stories in the news about contaminated vaccines and contaminated manufacturing processing companies working with vaccines. And yeah, well, once we sterilize everything, you know what will be left? Nothing, right? Once we sterilize everything, there'll be nothing left. There'll be no life at all. So I see no problem with take it if you want to take it. It usually turns out that people who study a lot of information about it don't want it. And people who study nothing want it. That's my experience of it. And that's the beauty of a free world and a free planet. And you know, you can take it if you want to take it. But it's yeah. I think similar to you, I'm prepared to wait a while and to see what fantastic advantages come from the whole process. I'm not convinced. I think if we fast forward 5 or 10 years, people will look back and think, oh, that was a bit of a mistake. As we have done with most mass health programs down throughout history. And also governments are known to experiment with new pharmaceutical products on the people.
Yes. Tell me, were your parents vaccinated?
Not yet, but they would like to be vaccinated.
Yes.
And so I asked my dad, tell me why. And he said, well, I hope it will give me some protection. And I said, hope is not very scientific. I said, I'm not against hope. You know, hope, faith, belief are important parts of human psychology. But if someone says to me, do you want to go to the football match? And I say, oh, is there a football match today? And they say, well, I don't know, but I hope there is a football match. I will
understand.
I will be thinking twice about it. I will be thinking, well, that's that's a bit of a risk. Yeah, I understand other people's perspectives, and yet I think we have to be careful that we don't make medicine a religion. We need to separate those two subjects and topics. And I know that medicine and chemical processes and pharmacy has brought us a lot of innovation, yet at the same time it has not improved very much on the original natural processes of nature. Perhaps not improved at all, because we are only able to synthetically recreate things that already exist, basically. There are a few exceptions to the rule there, a little bit, but it's no substitute for a healthy lifestyle. Breathing fresh air, taking exercise, eating good fresh food, fruits, vegetables,
vitamins.
Vitamins, getting your meat, getting sunshine. So all of those things are higher priorities. So
not be obese.
not to not be obese. Yeah, and that's. That's a huge strain. It's a strain on the person themselves and their body, and it's a strain on the economy, and it's a pressure on people around about them, and and it's probably a sign that you are eating too many processed foods, or you're overworking, or you're focusing on the wrong things, and you have maybe a sedentary lifestyle. You don't move enough. So there's lots of elements there that are. You know what's the most important thing? The most important thing is discipline.
Yes. But people are not.
Well, we are and we aren't at the same time. We can be incredibly disciplined about crazy things. Yeah, watching our favorite television program or Netflix series, or I don't know, all things that maybe don't matter so much, right? We can be incredibly disciplined about that. Yet at the same time, we sit and watch the Netflix program while we're eating crisps
Yeah.
and drinking
Cola.
some
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, for example. Yeah, yeah.
Sweet drinks.
Oh, sugar is a killer. I mean, in this country, everything has sugar in it. Even the sugar has sugar in it, right? I mean, it's totally crazy. There's sugar in absolutely everything, and it it people have to avoid it. They have to make conscious choices. And
Mm.
over the last 3-4 months, I have been very conscious about those choices in my life, and I can feel a big difference in terms of my own personal health as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I changed my diet, and I fast every day for 12 hours between midnight
Mm-hmm.
and 12 o'clock the next day,
Mm-hmm.
lunchtime the
Mm-hmm.
next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 6 days out of 7, maybe not 7 days, maybe 6 days a week. Yeah, because life is life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do it. I get it done. I hit that
Mm-hmm.
target. So and the not eating late at night and the missing breakfast and going straight to lunch works for me. It works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it will be difficult for other people and won't work for them, and their lifestyles are different, and fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But it works for me, and I feel that when I do that and have the first meal of the day at 12 o'clock, then I have more energy for the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can I can feel personally it's better. And I also feel a difference in my body and how it processes food, and I'm more consciously aware. Like I'm more conscious of, okay, the food is in my stomach now. I can feel it. Something is happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because when
Yeah.
you if you imagine when you're bigger and you're eating something, maybe you can't really feel, that part of the body or what's happening. You know
Mm-hmm.
you're eating something, but what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a little bit more healthy and body focused and orientated, then you begin to notice things more. It's like, oh, what's that there? Or I can feel that in my stomach, and other crazy things like noticing when you go to the bathroom and things like that, right? Noticing how food passes through you in different ways at different times. So all of those things matter, and it's just good to have that focus. It's really good to have that focus and awareness, and it has to be a daily thing. It can't be something that you do just once a week. It's got to be on a daily basis, and yeah, it always amazes me the people think about the end but not the start. And let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
People will say, "Oh, I eat too many unhealthy foods."
Mm-hmm.
You can only eat unhealthy food if you buy unhealthy food. You have to buy it first and then eat it or cook it or do whatever with it. But you have to buy it first. So the problem is not that you eat it. The problem is that you buy it.
How is it?
And,
God.
and if we can focus on realizing that the problem is at the beginning, not at the end,
Yeah, it's true.
then maybe we can begin to look at how we solve those problems. So if you're conscious about what you buy, and you're like, okay, that's good and that's good, and then you're going to be a bit more focused, and the little things all add up together, and hopefully it means that people stay healthy, and people also need changes as well, depending upon what time of year it is, or which part of the world you live in, or how much energy you expend during the day. You know, are you
a lot of things.
Oh yeah, like it's
a lot of things.
It's the difference between being a history teacher and a physical education sports teacher, right? They're both teachers, but there's a high probability the sports teacher is going to burn up much more energy during the day because of the physical nature of their work. So we've got to be aware of those differences as well. If people get to thinking about only eating what you need to eat, it's discipline. I like it, but do I need it? Ooh, it's discipline. So I like it, but do I need it? And then if we don't need it, then it's a luxury. Then we ask ourselves, can I have a luxury? Maybe yes, maybe no. Right? It's not. It's not always a bad thing. So and no one ever teaches that, right? The simple things. No one ever teaches that. It would be very, very simple to have one class at school where the teacher says, don't eat the crisps. You got good crisps and bad crisps, so you got to study the differences between them, right? Don't drink the soda fizzy drinks, right? Try to prepare the meals yourself. Buy local food, local produce, know where it comes from. Do all of those things, and you increase the possibility and probability of a healthy lifestyle, and that matters. There are too many people thinking that doing everything is okay, which is really not thinking. And you can do more of it when you're younger, right? As you get older, body changes, metabolism slows down. You know, you can be 25 years old, drink 10 beers and eat 3 pizzas and sort of be okay, right?
Nothing happens.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But when you're 40, you can't. No way you can do that when you're 40, because there's consequences to that. Absolutely. So, and I've been a person with a lot of bad personal habits in my life. I've had times when I've been fat, I've been overweight, I've been unhealthy, I haven't done enough exercise. Every bad habit, not every bad habit, most of the bad habits in the world I've experienced at some point in time. And it's, you know, you maybe want to do it for one day and then never again, right? But then when is one day just one day? You never know where things are going to go. Like with exercise for me. My philosophy on exercise is that every day could be your last day. And so if you don't want this to be your last day, you need to do something. You need to do something about it. And so that's it, because
it's logical.
I don't know if I will have the same opportunity tomorrow. I don't know. I just don't know. I hope I will. It's maybe 90% chance that I will. But at any point, at any time in anybody's life, things can change direction. And So what is perfectly normal and natural and easy today might be very difficult tomorrow. There's 1,000 people that woke up really healthy today, and oh, what's this pain in my chest? Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. And you know, the next day it's not so easy to do all of those things, right? It's often better to have the pain that you give yourself than the pain that comes from elsewhere, because at least the pain that you give yourself is some level of self-control. And by that, the classic example is exercise, right? You know, you do some exercise and you're like, and you feel a bit tired, maybe a bit sore, but that's pain you give yourself so that you're better and you don't have other problems. So if you can choose that and have some control over that, that's the best way to go down a healthy road, I think. Crazy thing is, most people don't realize that until they're about 35 to 40 years old. Some people get it when they're younger, like people who do a lot of sport get it, but that's usually at a higher, sort of more professional level. But it's necessary to have that level of discipline. If I didn't do exercise every day, there's no way I could have survived the last year. The last year has been like this, right? A giant roller coaster. So I need that kind of meditation. There must be a name for it. I don't know if they call it exercise meditation or something, where you use exercise to play with your mind a little bit, to sometimes to clear your mind, sometimes to explore other ideas, sometimes just to get outside and go somewhere. We need it. We need it. We need it, and there's usually some space somewhere in people's day where they can fit it in. You know, I was a couple of years ago, I was watching an interview with the woman who owns the World Wrestling Federation. It's a big organization of men and women that fight with each other, and they
I know.
And you know, it makes a lot of money for a lot of people because they sell it to television networks and people watch it, and it's a big industry. And she has a high-profile, high-pressure job with a lot of work. She's the owner, she's the chairperson or the CEO, and she's a professional wrestler. So, right? So how do you fit all of those things into a day, one day? And she said, sometimes I get home from work and it's midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I get home from work at 1 o'clock in the morning, I go to the gym. I get home, and I said, doesn't matter what time I get home, I go straight to the gym when I get home. Straight to the gym. And and that's the discipline, right? That's the discipline of how much do you want it, or no excuses, right? No excuses. There's no reason to not do it if you have it as part of your plan, as part of your schedule, if you want it. And you know, these people are a great inspiration, I think, for everybody, because I think that I'm disciplined in most things, but there's no way that I could do that. Like, I couldn't get up at 6 in the morning and go and have a full day of professional meetings and traveling and doing everything, and then get home at 12 o'clock at night, and then go to the gym and then exercise. I mean, that's an insane level of dedication, but that's what it takes to look after yourself at times as well. So little things. I've always thought that if you put an exercise bike in front of the TV, the world would be a better place, because everybody watching the TV would have to sit on an exercise bike, and at least they'd actually do something rather than sitting in one place and doing nothing. And I just try to think about it like that. Where can you fit it in? Yeah. Where can you fit it in? Where can you do it? How can you add something into your life that's gonna make a difference? Just preparation the day before, thinking about it. Where's going to be the space? Where's going to be the opportunity to do it? And then being flexible with it as well. Some days it might have to be the morning. Some days it'll be the afternoon. Some days it'll be the evening. And then realizing as you go through life, you got to change it, mix it up. Exercise routines get very boring. Like, how many weights can you lift, right? In the same way, you got to find another way to do things, different kind of exercise, different kind of sport, something else. So it doesn't have to be so extreme. I'm a bit more extreme because I try to do an hour a day, and I usually get it like 6 days out of 7. I can usually do it, but it depends on the organization and where you are. But the only problem that I've seen with things like that is people who spend a lot of time traveling have problems with exercise. So example would be somebody who's a taxi driver or a big lorry driver, or someone who's stuck in one position. It's very difficult for them to fit that into what they do. Or somebody who's got a lot of business meetings and they spend a lot of time at airports and on planes and flying to places and getting connections, and it gets difficult to fit the exercise into the travel routines as well. Because if you're here and then you've got some meeting in, I don't know, Germany, then you're oh, somebody fell down. That was weird. I fell down. That's a strange thing to fall down. Okay, interesting. So what was I saying? Yeah, when you're exercising and traveling, then if you have to go to Germany for a meeting, you have to get up early and travel to the airport and get on the plane and go. You have very little control. You might be able to do something at the airport. I don't know, but it's going to be uncomfortable, and there's a lot of waiting around, and it's difficult in that circumstance. You can't take the training stuff with you because it's probably heavy and you can't take it on a plane, right? Do anything with it. So in those kinds of situations, it will be difficult to do something. But hopefully, imagine. I'm just thinking about if you replace sitting at a desk with sitting on a bicycle, right? There's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yes.
How do we tackle obesity in schools? Well, it's very simple. You have a classroom where there's a lot of bicycles instead of desks, and The kids have to spend 15, 20 minutes every day on a bicycle or something. Trouble is, you can't force people to do it because that would be wrong. But you can create the opportunity for it. Yeah. And as always, more leads to more and less leads to less. The more people who get involved, the more people who will get involved usually, and things will grow. So, yeah, it's good to be. It's good to feed yourself the right information. It's good to feed yourself the right opportunity. It's good to feed yourself the right food.